azulemu molu balunya kole ya dai fama li balava amali mirabang dunia kole ya bedula beledo fisata nyodi menna kole do ya dai.
Hello everyone, greetings ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Better Gambia series. It's been so long since we recorded our last episode and I really apologize for that. The intention has always been to be here all the time talking about the issues affecting our people, but I guess we all understand the challenges that comes with being a full-time dad and also working Monday to Friday 8 to 5 p.m. So lu ma wax rek mooy man la ñu nuyu bu baax a baax di leen gërëm di leen sant di leen jaajëfal ci support bi ngeen ma jox yëpp waaye tam di leen waxoon ne nag gëjoon naa fi te ñun suñu mébét moo doon ñu fi nekk all the time pour record vidéo pour waxtaan ak askan bi si yenn affaire yi nga xam ne mu ñoo affect ñun suñu nit yi si Gambie foofu noonu waaye yeneen nag daf di métti trop soo amee njaboot fii nii ba pare tamit di liggéey Monday ba Friday 8 to 5 p.m. Gambie léegi egg na state bi nga xam ne dafa jar pour ñu ñëpp di saanu suñ kaddu di mayante xel di waxtaan si affaire yi nga xam ne moo yóbbu dëkk bi kanam man nag suma maas moom si léegi commencé leen bokk because am na ñi nga xam ne yàggoon leen di wax ñu ne ñoo sant di leen gërëm mun naa am sax tey Gambie fu mu eggatee ñoom seen wax moo taxoon Gambie egga fa waaye ba tey like I said in politics there is nothing like war naa wax waruma ku nekk am nga kaddu si dëkk bi te ki nga xam ne si am nga li nga xam ne foog nga ne mun naa yóbbu dëkk bi kanam ba tey am nga di right to talk about it. dama ko dee faral di wax all the time for any country to develop, and this is not just about Gambia, would always require two major players or two major stakeholders. That is the government, which would include the elected officials, ñi nga xam ne ñoom lañ jox the mandate to run the affairs of our country, and also us, the rest of the citizens. te da ngay gis ne all of us have our parts to play te suñ ko defutee like it's always going to be a problem. Now, in the case of the Gambia, for instance, it's so unfortunate that Sunebe Betana can as our president, Musela government, Mununta change for the next 5 years. Why don't I guess the 5 years is a very, very long time. Now we have two options. Either you make the politics the entire 5 years, or keep the government on their toes, but also playing our individual responsibilities. Are we doing that? So more than you about elections, you about politics, which is good. Because right. Why my approach is always being to talk about the issues you have own responsibilities. Because we are not playing our responsibilities, then whosoever becomes our president is always going to face the same challenges. Or they always make us now. So like the elected officials have a responsibility to serve us to the max. Why unfortunately we cannot force them. All we can do is select somebody who the right candidate for the presidency. So you cost time, so if you game was salam, so the next 5 years you watch it. Why are we actually doing that? Because it doesn't matter who the president is, it's always going to be the same issue. Which we can start with. Election bi su 5 years bi jotee ñu dellu waat polls yi ñu sànni carte ku ñu doy. Because soo ko xoolee ba xoolaat ko léegi Gambia dafa bari politicians te wax dafa yomba waaye def moo jafeñ. So wax yomba na def dafa jafeñ te loolu ñu dee confuse so much that sometimes it's difficult to know who has better intentions for the country. Why, as always, when it's time for elections, we go to the polls ku nekk nga vote ka nga xam ne moom nga yaakaar is gonna move the country forward. If they do it, fine. But if they don't, we have to wait for another 5 years to correct that mistake. Why the emphasis should always be what do we do between now and the next 5 years.
So among our responsibilities as citizens, more you take care of the environment that we live in. And that is why today's topic is dedicated to the environment. And I'll be talking about the environment or the cleanliness of our environment in 3 folds. I'll talk about the cleanliness of our households, but also the cleanliness of the streets, and also the general cleanliness of the food we eat. Now, to be honest, this is inspired by something strange that I saw last year when I was in the Gambia. So last year around this time, I was in the Gambia for a month-long vacation. I was on a sabbatical and thought it was going to be a good idea to travel to the Gambia, spend some time with my friends, family, and some of the other people that I haven't seen in a long time. So just about a month before my trip to the Gambia, I was talking to this friend of mine. He's an American citizen, but I met him around 2007 at the UTG in Gambia. So he was there for an exchange program, and that's how we became friends. So we've been very, very cool since then. So I told him that I was going to go to the Gambia, and he was really excited for me, and thought it was also going to be a good idea for him and his wife to join me. So he told me he was going to talk to the wife and then get back to me later. So a week later, he called me and said he decided to come with me to the Gambia. So it was all excitement. So I traveled to the Gambia, and then a week later, they joined me. And when they came, like the first 2 nights went really well. We ate good food, went to nice places, and then everything was so cool. Now, there was this night that we were sitting together in my sister's house in Jalambang. We were discussing our activities for the next day. And all of a sudden, the guy mentioned that he wanted us to go to Marte Serakunda. Now, when he mentioned Marte Serakunda, I was like, why Marte Serakunda? There's a lot more. There's a lot of places that we can go to, but why Marte Serakunda in particular? No, to me, because I do understand that some people, especially tourists, when they travel, they just want to do extreme tourism. Them places they're extreme, very different from the life that they're used to in their home countries. So after discussing it for a while, I thought, why not Marte Serakunda? So I think the wife was also interested to go to Marte Serakunda. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go to Marte Serakunda. So, but then that same night while we were talking, Magnan Espinal guy, trying to sell some of the wild fruits we have in the Gambia, like aikaba, nete, and some of the things in the US. So we were talking about them, and they were so interested about them because Manon tried to even like to describe the taste of kaba, the taste of nete, which was really difficult for me to do. But I just kept trying, So the next day, we went to Marte Serakunda, and then, when we got to the market, just right at where we entered, there was this little girl selling a bucket of ditah. So when I saw it, I told her, hey, this is what ditah is. And, they were all looking at it, But half of the ditah, I would say 99% of the ditah was all cracked open. And this little small girl was selling ditah right next to a very dirty stream of water. Now, I'm not sure where the water was coming from, but I can tell you the smell wasn't pleasant at all. It was a very bad smell. Why still, I was embarrassed. My whole net and okay, probably he's been here before, so he wouldn't care much. The wife I was a little bit worried about. So while we were there, after ma nekk nak legi di sacc ci bokité jigen bi di sedd tax bu nga xamné tojut su ko défé ma mën ko yobu at least bobu nonu the fact that it's covered fully mën ngeen ko raxas ñu open ko for people to try it. But while I was looking for that, lemu am benn di tax bu daanu. Fi di tax bi daano even before my wax dara sax this lady already pick up the tax mu faxas ko la delo ko ci bucket bi. Now I was confused. I didn't know which ditah bu daanu su ndox bu tilim bobu la delo wat ci bucket bi. Now ditah bi didn't daanu ci biir ndox bu tilim bi sax, but it fell very close to the stream of water where she was sitting. Fa nga xamne ni jam fa romba that ditah bi is already cracked open, mu fa daan mu jël ko faxas ko delo ko fa. And like I said, the plan was to man jikana ko ci ditah bi, I was going to buy it even without eating it just so that she doesn't sell that to somebody else. But unfortunately that didn't happen because she already put it there before I could even say anything. I didn't end up eating that ditah. But I'm pretty much sure somebody's child must have, eaten that ditah. Look at that, how maybe not favor, I don't know. But whatever it is, this is somebody's negligence. Cause somebody's child to, to get sick. Don't know what I want to about the environment because I do understand that you then poor, not necessarily because we want to be poor, but we grow up in a society where why being poor is one thing, why nyaka settlement is something else. Why secondly, I also want to talk about the streets because Madame Gambia, the places you bury. But one thing that you always see is that the streets are always littered. Now, Lulu, the reason I'm talking about this is probably because I've traveled. Because when I go to Gambia, this would have been treated as a normal case. While you took them plus okay, this is something that I think my country also needs to start doing. More than why talk about the environment? To me, the environment is everything. You so correct. No good hospitals, no good medication, people getting sick every single time. Your responsibility more to take care of the things that are within your control. And that would include the food you eat and the place you sleep or the place you call home. And there's also this common saying that cleanliness is next to godliness, and I believe it. Now, if you look around all these major religions in the world, especially looking at the major ones, Islam and Christianity, they've all placed so much emphasis on cleanliness. In Islam, for instance, one cannot perform their religious obligations without being clean both physically and mentally. So you will see that the state of our environment does not only dictate the diseases we encounter, but it also determines how we excel in our religious practices. So with the environment being so critical for our survival, why give the ownership to somebody else? I know it would be nice to have a government that supports us with our environment, but we should be people that even if the government fail in their responsibilities, this is something that we need to take ownership of, because we are not doing it for them, but we are doing it for our own well-being. So why is the Gambia different from the rest of the world? So to nga gina Gambia, them Europe, or them USA, or them even some of the other African countries. At least for people like me, the first thing that they impress me is how everywhere is being kept so clean. I have to wonder, why is the Gambia different? Now let's try to divide this into three different aspects again. First, si bir kër yi. Sa bir kër muy Gambia muy all over the world, that responsibility should always lie on you as the household owner. Yaa moom sa bir kër, yaa war a responsible naka lam setee. Su setee yow sa stream boobu should be always on you. But when it comes to the street, boobu noonu nag foofu nekk nag the main thing with the Gambia di am like comme difference bi. In Gambia, so we can do whatever we want with the, with the street, because ken momul ko. Dem na ba nga xamne sax dafa taw dikando di jël sen mbali di génné ko ci ndoxi taw bi pour ndoxi taw bi génné ko sen bunti néegi drop ko somewhere else. Then we are all religious people, but nobody cares. Ay julli len ay Christians, but nobody cares. Da nga génné mbali tek ko ci biir taw bi génné ko drop ko ci bunti kéri jàmbur. And we are very comfortable doing that. Finally, moy comme lekka yi ñoo lekka ci mbéda bi. Now soo ko xoolee Gambia da nga dem ci bitik buga jënd mburu ak let's say butter or mburu ak nen. I did that a lot when I was in high school or even ma nekkee Gambia yëpp. But what happens is da ngaa dem si biti nga jënd mburu ak nen mburu boobu noonu, let's talk about the trip. Mburu bi lan trip bi mu make benn si four bi mu ko jagaree defarkati four bi mu jëlee ko si from the four eb ko si biir ba si box am bi def ko si bicycle am bi daw ak moom si dëkk bi yëpp pënd bi yëpp laal mburu bi. From there mu wàcca buto bi doon dawalee bicycle loxo bi a ngi am pënd mu téye mburu bi ak génn jox ko borom bitik bi. Borom bitik bi tam mburu bi dafa nekk yene 1 day or 2 days. Yene sa nga dem jëndi mburu borom bitik bi jógee fa dem si toilette bi ñëw nga gis ko loxoom yaa ngi tooy mu téye sa mburu bi di ko xar. And nobody saying anything about it because ñun den ko miin. Like I said before, su ma nekkoon Gambia probably I wouldn't be talking about this because it's something that we are so much used to. Waaye njëriñu tukki mooy nga dem place gis li nga xam ne is different nga wish ne sa dikkat ñu ko doon defee tamit lii. Because in the end jàmm kese la ñu isil. Waaw ñun like I said amuñ ay garab yu doy suñ garab doyut suñ nelaw doyut suñ lopitaan doyut. So moo tax den war a gën a bàyyi suñu xel di def li nga xam ne daf ñu gën a dimbale. Now who is responsible for taking care of all of this? So who is responsible for cleaning the streets? This has always been an interesting topic of discussion because for many Gambians, they think that this is the responsibility of the government. Dem na ba nga xam ne ñu bari keewuñ about luñ sànni si mbedd ak luñ fa sànniwut because dañoo ne su génnee suma kër jeex na amatuma si benn responsibility. I don't know where that idea came from. The government bi ñu war a clean mbedd bi, but it's what many people hold to be true. Why man, probably su ma nekkoon Gambia, that's what I would have thought too. Why? Because of léegi tukki na lu ma fi gis mooy here people are responsible for taking care of their households but also taking care of the street. Nit yi duñ dee bàyyi xel na ñun mbalit bu ñoo def moo nekk di tilimal mbedd bi. So to begin with, suñ sànniwutee mbalit si mbedd bi du tilim. But we are doing that and expecting somebody to come clean it up for us. Waaye foogul la ne su doon ne ñi ngay jël our responsibilities to make sure ne comme li tawuñ street bi, then maybe xaalis bu ñu government bi di use su dee ñi ngay use even xaalis boobu can be diverted to somewhere else. A country like Gambia bu nga xam ne ñun we are struggling on basically everything. So ñun den foog ne responsibility mbedd bi is always on the government tax na ba nga xam ne ñun faalewuñ ñoo sànni si mbalit bi ak lu ñu fa du def. Well, let me give an example in the US. So fii li fi dee happen mooy mbalit bu ngaa jëndee sa biir kër is your responsibility to trash it. Every single month dangaa fay xaalis pour sa mbalit bi ñu ko pick up sa kër du ko yóbbu si lii bi si dumping ground bi. dangaa fay on a monthly basis mooy mbalit bi nga def sa biir kër. Now soo dikkee si area bi nga xam ne am na HOA, that is Home Owners Association, dangaa fay extra money again for them to take care of your streets. Mbedd bi to begin with kenn fi sànni dara lu tilim, but ñoom what they do is they take care of comme sa grass bi ñax gi nekk si biti, everything is nice and clean. They do that too. So you see, you are paying for your trash, but also paying the HOA to take care of your, front yard. So on top of that, bis bu nga xam ne moto bi ñëwoon na to pick up your trash, nga miss a trash collection date. Léegi sa trash bi su dee ne dafa bari, amul space sa kër, yaa ko war a yóbbu si dumping ground bi. And guess what? They charge you for vehicle, not even like how many bags of trash you have. They like charge based on the vehicle boo yóbbu si dumping si dumping ground bi. I did that before. Moto bu ndaw laa yóbbu woon. With foog naa 2 bags of trash ñu charge ma $99. That is what they charge you pour nga mën a dump sa trash ba nga xam ne moto bi pigut ko that day. Su dee da nga bëgg a immediately pour nga bëgg ko drop. It's not so easy in the US. So fii su setee, it's not just because the government is doing it, waaye ñun suñu bopp ñoo ko nekk di fay. Gambia, I'm not even saying for anybody to pay anything. Lu ma nekk di wax mooy su dee ne mbedd bi ñoo ko nekk di tilimal, how about we start taking responsibility, ñu commencé make sure suñu mbali di ñu ko denca, ñu ko paak fu ñu ko war a paak, su ko defee mbedd yi set comme ni ñu war a setee.
Wallahi dunia o alinga mudu mungo wala ya du bayra mo fere alinga mudu mungo wala ya du bayra mo alinga mudu mungo kongo le bayra mo kongo.
What needs to be done? We need a better trash collection system across the board from Banjul to Basse. We need a better trash collection system both in our neighborhoods and the markets. I was in the Gambia last year, and to be honest, things have gotten much better than they were in the past, but I believe people still deserve better. Notwithstanding, I would like to commend KMC under the leadership of Talib Ahmed Bensouda for the Mbalit project, and a similar gratitude to the Brikama Area Council for the Senaya project as well. And I think of late, I also saw a memo from the Banjul City Council in which they were encouraging people to clean up the streets. So I think these are all commendable efforts, but still, I still believe we can do better on this. We also need better environmental laws, including the anti-littering laws. I know some of these laws already exist, and they've been existing for a very, very long time. But what is the point of having laws that are never gonna get enforced? So therefore, the call here is that to revisit those laws and see how best we can make them fit for purpose. Just think about it. When was the last time you saw somebody getting arrested or being policed because they violated the environmental laws or the anti-littering laws? Probably never, right? So again, what is the point of those laws then if we're never going to enforce them? That is the point I'm trying to put across. In addition to these environmental laws, we also need to implement the sanitary laws which would enforce hand hygiene on all shopkeepers and food vendors. Hand hygiene is the #1 way to stop the spread of germs. Waaye soo xoolee Gambie les conditions yaa ngi bari yeneen sax xamuñ lu ko nekk di cause. So lu ñu si mën a dimbale rek mooy ñu make sure ne borom bitig yi ak ñi nga xam ne ñi ngay jaay lekk si mbedd yëpp ñi ngay raxas seen loxo yi anytime suñu laalee lu tilim. Even suñu laalee lu tilim sax waaye dañoo make sure ne bala ngaa laal lekk jàmbur fekk sa loxo yaa ngi set all the time. That really needs to be enforced. Ak dama foog ne tamit like sensitization bi dafa des. Because ñu bari example of comme jigéen mu ndaw moo ko doon jaay di tax they don't even know what microorganism is. ñi ngay def lu bari li nga xam ne xamuñ ko. So li leen see mën a génnee mooy people responsible need to conduct a massive sensitization campaign pour waxal nit yi comme affaire yu jàngoro ak lu ko dee mën a transmit from one place to another, especially when it comes to food. Because da nga gis ne yow lekk yi ñu jaay si mbedd bi even though you and I watching this may not be buying from the street, but in the end it's gonna be our fellow Gambians suñ magi ak suñ rakay ñoo jënd lekk yi te ñoo say feebar ñoo say lor. That is why it's important that we embark on this sensitization campaign. Finally, I would also like to add the need for ownership mentality. People need to start owning their environments. Even better, people need to start owning them. Comme like I was saying, then obviously nobody is going to take care of it. but the moment ñu dem ba nga xam ne gis nañ su suñu bopp ñu xam ne lii ñu ñoo ko moom su baaxee ñun la su bonee ñun la then that's when everybody put their hands together and then start to work for the betterment of the environment. So yow muy seetaan li sax xam naa ne most likely you're not littering the street waaye soo dikkee si dëkk ngeen ne man defuma dara rek su ma yoon nekku si bi ko defuma ko rek that doesn't always help. Lu gën a dimbale nit mooy nga xam ne man defuma ko but how do I stop other people from doing this. su ko defee nag ñu get together ñu xam ne ñu ñoo dëkk si koñ bi nii let's get together ma call Ali call Paate call diw ak diw ñu dëkk si koñ bi ñu xam ne fii ñu ñoo ko moom every day of this week or every Saturday of the week dañoo bëgg a ñëw pour clean up our environment. suñ nga clean up nag am naa transportation is expensive waaye sareeti mbaa moom fi or whatever somebody can chip in te loolu am sure na soo leen utee support yi gën a get it. su ko defee ñu gather everything together yóbbu ko to the dump site da ngaa gis ne in that way we're not waiting for the government to come do that for us. We're exercising our responsibilities. Government always fu ñoo xargaale mooy elections ku nekk am nga sa card mooy sa voice te koo votal deful sa liggéey boo ko sant am nga right pour nga vote ko out. waaw soo loolu moo nekkoon tey waxtaan bi tey man la ñu gërëm di leen sant dañ ñëwoon rek pour rafetal lu si ñaaw ñu ñu jégalu bu baax a baax waaw di leen wax ne tamit just continue to support continue the likes the subscription and even commenting on this jërëjëf xam naa ba beneen yoon.
Dunia monane di ani ngapun